for $1 million.
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. Senior developer, co-founder of EHG Mike held his normal Friday Q&A live stream on Twitch, which means I get to bring you Dev Chat 170. As always, Mike answered lots of great questions from the community and gave us all the Season 2 stats. This should be a shorter dev chat because obviously there's not a teasers and we're not starting to talk about Season 3, but there is some questions that Mike answered that I'm going to show you during this video, and we're going to jump right into it. Now, at the beginning of stream and actually throughout the entire stream, oh, thank you, EHG. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're having a blast. Awesome job. Also, we want Last Epoch to be like Diablo 4 and PoE 2. The question after question was referencing features from other games they want to see in Last Epoch, including our first question around Paragon board.
We plan for something like a Paragon level or progression for once we're level 100. Pushing corruption is fun, but let's see just how high we can go. Yeah, this is a really interesting thing. This is something that we get we used to get asked quite a bit. And it's something that we had initially designed the factions to kind of be, is this like leveling progression system that's decoupled from the actual like leveling process. Like your experience doesn't have an impact, like a direct impact on it. And I think because the primary function of a Paragon system being that it actually gives you player power and not the ability to find player power, it worked a lot better than what we initially did, because we set the, like, when you first got into original versions of these factions, there was no way you were getting to rank 10 at the time was the max. There was no way you were getting to rank 10 by level 100. It was like level... it required like twice as much experience to get to level 100 as it did to get to rank 10 type thing. Like that was the initial version. I don't think we ever launched that version. That was like the initial original version, because we wanted to have this like leveling system that extended past level 100, that was decoupled from your character level. And people didn't like that very much.
No, they hated it.
And since then we've dropped the requirements for unlocking all of the item faction ranks a ton. And so I think, yeah, I don't think that system quite fulfilled the goals there fully. And so I can see something else stepping in to do something similar, but we don't have any plans for it at the moment.
I am very curious their plans for progression past level 100. Now let's watch Mike break down some of the stats.
Let's look at some stats. Let's look at some stats. Which one is it? Let's get a big version for myself so I can look at the same time. Yeah, so we've got... I feel like that's probably pretty good size. Everyone can probably see it. It's almost half the player base is playing Sentinel right now, 49%, which is huge. And I think this is the first time Acolyte's ever been out of the top 2. I think. I could be wrong on that, but Acolyte's always up there. Necromancer is one of those things that's just like, even if we don't touch it, people still play it.
You're welcome.
Necromancer is fantastic. And yeah, so I'm a little surprised at how crazy representative Sentinel is there, but even the others are fairly evenly spread, which is nice. Yeah, some cool little stats there, but yeah, there's a lot of people playing Sentinel right now, which is cool, and like a lot of that is just because, hey, it's the new thing, and when we make a big change to something, a lot of people play the new thing, and if it's also really strong, a lot of people play the new thing.
I will say I am surprised that number 3 is Falconer and not Marksman. You would think it would be Marksman because you could only play the new skill Heartseeker through Marksman, but it's not even in the top 3. That is very surprising to me. Mage being on the bottom is also not surprising because everybody played Mage last season. So you'll probably kind of see that what happened. Everyone played Sentinel this season, and then it'll drop probably to the bottom because we're getting a little bit of an Acolyte rework next season. But mostly nobody plays Primalist. It's always at the bottom, unfortunately, even though that is what we are playing this season. 9.2 million tombs raided, 3.8 million cemeteries raided, 571,000 legendary items crafted, 983,000 travelers created, and 591 peak concurrent users. Pretty crazy. Today is also day 11, and they pulled back over 90,000 players. If you go look at the Steam charts right now, they still have 90,000 people playing. Very impressive. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, nerfing.
Touch on the team's approach to nerfing. I hope it's more of a fine-tuned approach than a sledgehammer approach. D4 makes builds useless after. Yeah, there's sometimes a really fine line between a delicate touch and a clumsy bonk. I don't know what you want to say the two options are. And I think sometimes there's definitely been times that we've made adjustments and they've been overcorrections or undercorrections. They don't quite have the effect you expect them to in the long run. In general, I think when we want something to be like, thanks Steve, you got it. I think when we want something to be, when something is powerful and people are having fun with it and they enjoy the build and they enjoy the play style, and it's something that they're like, people really love playing this way, and it's like, say it's way more powerful than everything else. The goal is not to say, hey, this build everyone loves because they enjoy that way of playing the game, but it's too powerful, so we're gonna nerf it into the ground. That's not what we look at it at all like. It's, hey, there's this build that people really enjoy playing, partially because it's very powerful, partially because it plays fun. How do we make it so that people still really enjoy playing it? It's still really powerful, but no one has these calls of like, it's OP, nerf it, that sort of thing. And so it's getting it just under the line of people calling it OP. That's the goal. Like as close to that line as possible. That's always the goal when we're trying to nerf a build. Yeah.
EHG has touched on this in the past too. If there's a build that, let's just say, is overperforming by 1,000%, sometimes they will nerf it where it's, instead of it being the best by 1,000%, they'll bring it down where it's the best by 100%, which is still huge and it's still the best build and you would still want to play it, but it's not this outlier where you are required to play that to feel powerful. I think that's the right approach. Now, I almost never have my global chat on in game, but I guess RMT is all over chat. Listen to this.
Mike, can you make it easier to report gold sellers, i.e. just right click the name like you do to block people? I mean, we're talking about it. We're talking about it. See if there's anyone here. This is like, I like previously would always just play without chat on, and I just got permission to got my account enabled to actually ban gold sellers. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna turn chat on and I'm gonna ban every gold seller I see. And I don't see that. Like, it's frustrating how few I see compared to like how many, like, people come in and they're like, I see every other message as a gold seller. I'm like, I don't. I want to see them. So I can ban them, you know. But yeah, it is the sort of thing that we probably could leverage people's experiences more efficiently to get rid of them faster. The risk of like hordes of false reports, like, you can't automate that process, because you get like a group of 100 people that all start chain reporting a streamer they don't like or something like that, or even just you get a group of people in a stream that, like, or they don't have to be in a stream, it can be just a Discord group or something, or just any group of people that like bands together to like mass report someone. And if there's any sort of automation, you can have like ways that people can like boot other people out of the game automatically in the middle of like a contest or something like that to like win a race, you know, like all those like false positive situations for automating it is, there's edge cases that don't happen very often, but when they do happen, it's like, it's really bad. And it's possible that we've erred on the side of caution a little too much with some of those. but that's usually the motivation for not adding something like that. Is for like that could be abused this way, and that abuse case is more damaging than having it the way it is without it type thing.
Now let's talk about stash tabs.
Hi Mike, love the changes to the stash. Allows me to set up really nice. Are there any plans or ideas regarding saving a stash setup for new seasons? Oh, I would love this. I can see that it might be somewhat problematic in having to buy tabs, but maybe something like you need 20 tabs to apply this stash configuration. Yeah, there's a lot of pitfalls here of like, oh my god, it caused that problem. But there's a lot of room for awesomeness to happen here too, I think. Because yeah, you may have heard me at the start of this be like brag, not actually bragging, but where I was like, hey, I actually like have my stash set up this time, because usually on stream I don't bother setting up my stash properly. It's just a bunch of like tabs and stuff's just dumped in there. I'm like, I'll figure it out later. And yeah, it's because, you know, there's that little bit, it's not that much extra work to do, but it's enough that it causes me not to do it sometimes. So yeah, I'd love to have a template where it's just like where you can, I don't know exactly how it would look. I think the way it works best is you can set a stash tab template system. So there's like one of the in the stash system where you have like that little pull down here in the top left corner, and there's like you can pick the different like legacy stash tabs. One of them is just like stash template, and you can set up the tabs however you want, and you mark them in order. Be like, this is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one, this is the fourth one. And when you go to buy a new tab, it's just like, do you want to buy the next tab and have it auto configure to the next tab in your list of tab configurations that you've set up? And so every time you buy one, it just auto configures as the next one. I think that's the smoothest way to do it. I think the other way to do it is having that tab configuration system, and you can then like buy the tabs so it knows which ones have been purchased or not. I think having grayed out tabs in the tab system itself would be risky. I'm there's a bunch of issues about like conflicting like changes on the fly to what the system is versus the configuration template you've set up. And so having the version you're currently working with look different than the configuration template you've set up is a use case that you kind of gotta work around a bit.
This is requested all the time. I would be shocked if they are not already working on a system, but the way to save your stash tab loadout season over season, I just feel like this has to be coming in the near future. More stats.
Don't think so. Here we go. Here is the death stats for the first week. So Uber Aberoth was slain 471 times, but Uber Aberoth is slain 358,819 players. I think Uber Aberoth's getting the upside of that. Second most deadly enemy, Ghost, and another what are they called? Champions. Yeah. So as you brought up earlier, yes, Ghost is very dangerous. Total players who died at level 1, 392. That is awesome. I wonder if that's most people just like running through the first zone. I think you can't, at least the first bit of the first zone, you can't die in. Like your health, like you, at a certain point, your health regen, you get like a secret bonus that makes it so you can't die. We may have taken that off. For a while anyways, you couldn't die in the first zone. That'd be funny if those people are like running through the first zone without killing anything so they don't level 2. All right, normal player deaths, 10,600,000. That's a lot. Hardcore player deaths, 163,000 people have died in hardcore. Very cool. Very cool.
Why is everybody dying so much? Not me, of course. All right, everybody. Unfortunately, we've come to the final question for Dev Chat 170. This is focused around Merchants Guild. Mike, thank you for these Friday live streams. The community truly appreciates it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Of course, only if you think I've earned it. We are officially on the hunt for 100,000 subs on YouTube. The channel has exploded during the season 2 launch, and just, I don't know, I just cannot say thank you enough for the just overarching support on Twitch and on YouTube during this Subathon 3 event. So just thank you all so much. I'm done. Mike, take it away.
Give me your questions. I feed on them. Any improvements planned to help with price checking items before listing, i.e. auto select the item affixes? Oh, I'd love to. We don't have anything specific in place that I can share coming yet. But improvements to the functionality and feel of the Merchants Guild and the Bazaar in specific is very important, and stuff that we are looking into. There's a 1 LP Mad Alchemist Ladle.